Welcome back, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed chapter 5. Now let's find out what happens in chapter 6. Toby's getting his energy back. How do you think everybody's going to like that? To my surprise, the face of the man who had me in his hand broke into a smile. "Little rascal, aren't you?" he asked. "I've heard about you. You're Toby. I'm Eddie, and this is my kitchen." Maybe I wasn't in trouble after all. I wagged hopefully, and Eddie laughed. He smelled delicious. I squirmed to get closer to him. I could smell butter and salt and juicy meat. My nose twitched wildly, and I realized that the scents didn't just belong to Eddie, they were all around. There was a pile of sliced up oranges on a table with a powerful odor that was sharp and sweet all at once. Bread was toasting, sausage was sizzling on a grill. My tail wagged faster and faster. What an astounding place, I discovered. I liked this room. I liked Eddie a lot. Eddie kept laughing as he put me on the floor. I snatched up the ball before it rolled away, but then I dropped it again because Eddie held out a finger with a sticky smear on his tip. Peanut butter? Marvelous. I heard running footsteps, and a moment later, Tyler burst into the kitchen. "I'm sorry. It's my fault. I threw the ball and Toby ran after it." I wagged hard for Tyler, but I couldn't stop licking to go to him. "No kidding." Eddie still sounded amused. "Here you go, Toby boy. I've got something better than peanut butter. Want some bacon?" Something dropped on the floor right in front of my nose, something that smelled salty and meaty and amazing. I grabbed it between my teeth. It crunched. It was the best thing I'd ever tasted. Better than the dog food Mona put in my bowl. Better than the treats my other friends sometimes fed me. If this was called bacon, I knew I wanted more of it. Maybe I belonged to Eddie, since he fed me the best treats. That seemed reasonable. It would be all right with me. "Never met a dog who didn't appreciate a piece of bacon," Eddie said. "But keep him out of my kitchen, okay?" "Sure, okay." Tyler picked me up. And there's a picture of it. I was still busy with my bacon as Tyler carried me away from Eddie and the kitchen. A heavy door closed firmly behind us as we left. I wiggled, trying to get back to my new friend and the best room I'd ever been in. But Tyler didn't let me down. "No way, Toby," he told me. "We'd better get you back to Mona." Mona? I knew that name. I wagged a little for Mona and licked my chops to get all the traces of bacon that I could. Maybe I'd get another chance to visit Eddie and his bacon soon. Tyler brought me to Mona, and then something wonderful happened. Mona held me on her lap and rubbed my tummy while her mother carefully and tenderly unwrapped the bandages from my feet. "There you go, Toby," she said as she pulled off the last scrap of white gauze. "All better. Set him down, Mona. Let's see him go." Running was so fantastic. It was great that my new house was so big. There was a stupendous amount of space. I tore up and down the hallways, skidding on the tile. Mona and Patsy wanted to play too. They chased me, and I barked with joy. Fran came out of her office, her hands on her hips as I dashed by. "What's all this racket?" she asked. "What happened to our calm little puppy?" I didn't hear if Mona or Patsy said anything to her in reply. I was too far ahead. Mona caught up to me at last and went outside with me so that we could play some more. We played that game over and over for the next few days. I'd run down the hallways, and Mona would chase me and take me outside once she caught me. Sometimes other people played too. Patsy did often. Tyler did too. Once, Eddie even joined in. I let him catch me quickly because I thought he might have more bacon, but he didn't. Oh well, maybe next time. When we played, I dodged in and out of rooms and jumped on beds or chairs. Sometimes there were people on the beds or in the chairs. Most of them laughed. A few gasped with surprise. Often they wanted to pet me, and I'd let them for a little while. But then I would wiggle out from under their hands and start running again, so that everybody would chase me some more. It felt like the games I'd played back in the pen with my brothers and sisters. So much fun. A few days after my bandages came off, Mona and I were playing chase when I darted into a room and leaped upon the bed. "Well, hello there, boy," said a person who was lying on the bed with glasses on his face and a book propped up in front of him. It was Granddad. I knocked his book out of his hand and licked him all over his face. "Oh, I'm so sorry," Mona said, gasping and running into the room behind me. "He's got so much energy ever since those bandages came off. He keeps getting away from me." "No problem," Granddad said as he petted me warmly. "Nice to have somebody who's this happy to see me." "Hey there," said a woman sitting on a chair across the room. She shook her head and laughed. "Tyler and I are always happy to see you." This woman had said Tyler's name, and she smelled a little like Tyler. That was interesting. I jumped off the bed and went over to sniff at her feet and legs. "Toby doesn't nag me about getting on the treadmill," Granddad said, picking up his book again. "Now, Dad, please," the woman said. "Just 5 minutes a day." "I'm not a runner anymore," Granddad said, and he sounded grumpy. "Running is for tracks and trails, outside, not on some kind of machine indoors. Where's Tyler anyway? How's he coming with his running?" I heard the woman in the chair say something, but a cart rattling by in the hallway was more interesting to me. Carts often had fascinating things on them. I was beginning to learn that sandwiches, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, wiggly bits of jello. I dashed to the door, ready to investigate. But Mona snatched me up before I could get there. "No way, Toby. You come with me," she said, and she took me outside. That was the start of something Mona called training. Training meant that Mona would sit on the grass beside me and hold a crunchy treat in her hand. "Sit, Toby," she'd say, and press on my rear end until my legs folded up underneath me. Or she'd say, "Down, Toby," and tug gently on my front legs until I was stretched out upon the grass. Then I'd get the treat. That was really only the fun part. Honestly, I thought we could find some better games to play. But I liked Mona, and I liked the treats, so I went along with it. Or I went along with it as long as one of my friends didn't walk out of the doors to join us on the lawn. Then I'd have to run over and greet the new person and see what smells he or she had brought. Or as long as a squirrel didn't try to climb up on one of those trees near the fence, in which case I need to chase that squirrel and prop my legs up on the tree and bark and bark. Sometimes Tyler came outside to play training, and Eddie came to watch now and then as well. Once Eddie sat down on the grass with us, and I instantly burrowed into his lap, sniffing up all those delicious smells that clung to his skin and his clothing. Eddie smelled better than anyone I'd ever met. Eddie laughed and took some of the treats from Mona. "Let's see if I can get in on this training," he said. Mona sat down on the grass to watch. Eddie told me to sit. I did. Then he gently pushed on one of my shoulders until I felt a little off balance. I lifted one paw to steady myself. "Shake," Eddie said. He took my lifted paw in the hand. Then he gave me a treat. Crunch. I snapped it up. I like treats. I liked Eddie. We did that game for a few more times until I got impatient for the treat. When Eddie said shake, I didn't wait for him to push on my shoulder. I just picked up my paw and put it in his hand. "Good boy." Eddie gave me a treat right away. Smart little thing, isn't he? He's going to be a great dog to have around the place. "Maybe," said Mona with a sigh, "if he can figure out stay." He can't do stay. "He can't do stay? Let's see, give it a try," Eddie said. Mona got up. She had a treat hidden in her fingers. I could smell it. A little drool dripped from my chin as I thought about how much I wanted that treat. "Sit," Mona told me. I figured that one out. I put my rear end on the grass, my tail against the ground. But Mona did not give me a treat. How unfair. Stay, she said, and she took a step backward, then another. Whatever stay meant, the important issue was that I wanted that treat and I wanted Mona. I wanted to play with her and lick her and feel her fingers scratching along my back or rubbing my ears. Why should I just sit and do nothing when I could be with a girl like Mona? Ugh. Stay means you're not supposed to go anywhere. I jumped up and barked and ran to her, wagging wildly, jumping up to my feet on her knees and pant up into her face and remind her that I was here and needed to be played with and given a treat. Oh, Toby, she sighed. She did not give me a treat, but I didn't mind too much. I just spotted a wiggly line of gray fur zipping up the tree on the far end of the lawn. A squirrel. Squirrels were meant to be chased. I dashed off barking as fast as I could. I could hear Eddie chuckling behind me. Running over the grass was wonderful. Eating treats with Mona and Eddie was wonderful. Training was not so wonderful, but I really didn't mind. I was just glad to be outside in the soft grass with the scent I remember from the ranch in my nose, the smell of fresh growing things and warm dirt and quickly moving air. The smell of running. Well, that's the end of chapter 6, boys and girls. What do you think? I think Toby's feet are all fixed up now. Now he's got all this energy. Why do you think he has to be taught how to stay? What do you think they're planning on using Toby for? Well, tune into chapter 7 to find out.